time, it's with great pleasure that I get to introduce Kelly Jones to you. I've only talked with Kelly just a few minutes right before he got to eat tonight on his way in, and I said, "So Kelly, why do you do this?" And he thought for a minute, and he goes, "Because I love the cow-calf industry and the cow-calf business." He was raised on a ranch that primarily raised yearling steers, but has found that he really likes the cow-calf side of it. He obtained his bachelor's degree from New Mexico State University in animal science, and then went on to earn a master's degree at Texas Tech University. He is currently working on finishing a doctorate degree at West Texas A&M University. So next time we see him, we'll have to call him Dr. Kelly. Kelly started with the research division of Cactus cattle feeders and has now transitioned to the Cooperator lease manager for the cow lease program. Kelly is married and with 2 kids, a 6-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old little boy. And I can imagine that those 2 children are probably going to grow up to love the cow-calf industry also. So Kelly, come on up and share your passion with this group. Thank you for coming. Let's welcome Kelly Jones tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Willow. Very happy to be with you guys tonight. Thank you for having me here. Was really happy we had beef tonight. I knew I was safe coming to this conference. Sometimes you go to other conferences and they serve chicken. And I apologize to anybody in here who's a poultry producer, but just really appreciate the beef. Like Willow said, thank you very much. I'm a little boy. And one interesting thing about me, I guess, is when I was young, my parents discovered I was kind of allergic to chicken. So I never got to eat chicken. And as I grew up, I really never had a desire to because Granddad always raised cows. So I think I've grown out of the allergy, but I really don't want to try. So I've never eaten chicken. And my little boy likes chicken nuggets. So when he's screaming, that sometimes shuts him up. But as he grows older, I'm going to teach him that he is also allergic to chicken because Daddy is too. So, but very happy to be with you tonight. As Willis said, I grew up in a ranch in New Mexico. Currently live in Texas. I do have some experience with confinement systems. Part of my research at West Texas A&M, I ran a semi-confinement system there. The reason that we ran a semi-confinement system is because of the extreme drought we had. We had pasture land available, we just had absolutely nothing growing on it. So we ran some semi-confinement systems and learned a lot there, so I do have some experience there. My main purpose tonight is to visit with you about our cow lease program. It's a fairly innovative program. As I've talked to people, it's a fairly new concept, so hopefully I'll explain it well enough that you kind of get your minds wrapped around it. I'll also be available afterwards. I'd love to visit with any of you guys that have more questions and sure fill in the holes that I've left out here. So with our confinement system, kind of some history behind it is Cactus Feeders was founded by Paul Engler way back in a while. Over the years, he built several yards. He bought several yards. The first yard was at Cactus, Texas. Therefore, that's where we get the name Cactus Feeders. And over the years, he amassed more and more yards. We currently have 9 commercial feeding operations and a cow-calf yard. Syracuse Feed Yard. Roberto is Mundi that is here with me as well. Roberto manages the Syracuse yard. So the Syracuse yard became kind of in disrepair. The mill wasn't so good. There were a lot of cross fences, not so good. So the decision had to be made, what do we do with this? Convert this yard to a cow-calf yard. So throughout of 2010 through 12, there were a lot of cull cows that were bred, and quite honestly, a lot of good cows that were bred, taken to sell marsh to slaughterhouses. So we kind of capitalized on that and started buying some of those cows that were pregnant, placing them in the yard, and then calving them out in the yard. So it started to work for us. Our first goal was, will this Syracuse idea work? Will this converting a feedlot operation to a cow-calf operation, will that work? Well, Roberto and his staff have done a very, very good job. I'm not going to talk much to that, as he is going to cover that a lot tomorrow in his talk. He's done a lot of work. He's expanding pens. Currently, Roberto is doing a lot of heifer development. So that's where this cow lease program goes in, is we're starting to develop a lot of heifers in that yard. One of the main points of what we're trying to get done, and the whole reason that we're doing this program, is Cactus Feeders wants to expand our cow herd. We want to be able to control the genetics and have a chance to get those genetics in our feed yards. So that is our main goal. That's why we're doing this. We don't want to do this for a short sale. We're not looking to make a profit this year. We're looking to expand our cow herd. Now, do we want to make a profit this year and every single year? Yes. And we hope we've structured it that way in this lease program, where that a cooperator that wants to take advantage of it can also make a profit as well as us. But our main goal, expand our cow herd. So in the feed yard, Roberto is currently expanding. Once he gets to a certain point, anymore. Therefore, the only way to further expand is a lease opportunity where we get our developed bred heifers in the hands of cooperators that then can care for those cows and take a lease from us. So we are looking for cooperators interested in long-term lease agreements. We are not interested in a cooperator that heifers send them back to us. Now that would be nice if you get 100% calving and get them all bred back. Yeah, we'll take them back. But we are looking for long-term leases. We're looking for somebody that's going to take these bred heifers. That's the only thing that we're offering for lease. We're not offering any cows. No mature cows go out. The only thing that goes out is heifers that are bought from a ranch or from a large operation somewhere, developed in the yard, bred in the yard, and then after they're preg checked, they're available for lease. So once you calve out those heifers that first year, we're hoping that it works for everybody, and next year you have a set of young cows that we breed at your place, and then they lay down a calf again, and then we just do it all over again, and you have a cow herd that is owned by Cactus, that you're leasing from us, that is continuous. So that's our goal with this lease program. We want cattlemen and cattlewomen first. We are not interested in someone that's not going to take care of our assets. We are looking for full-time cattlemen, cattlewomen. I'm not sure, I can't speak to everyone's operations, but if a decision had to be made of where to put your resources and the cows got second fiddle, we're probably not interested in that. Especially as this program is new, we want it to be successful. Our long-term goal is to expand our cow herd. So if we can't get cows placed with people that are really passionate about cows and really passionate about taking care of them as they were their own, probably not going to work for us. So that is our main goal with taking care of our cows. So as I said, we will deliver confirmed bred heifers to a cooperator. They are not available for pickup until they are 45 days bred. Roberto preg checks them. We ultrasound preg check. We know a difference between an AI bred and a bull bred. We're able to sort on that capability. So at no time will you own the cows. The cows will always be owned by Cactus. We will file bailments. We will do the proper paperwork to make sure that if something happens that we know that we're safe. Obviously, we don't want somebody to go out and use our cows for collateral for a loan for something else. So it's not going to work. It is not a lease-to-own program. We are not interested in leasing our cows for you to eventually own them. We want to maintain ownership of the cows the entire time. Each cow will be branded with the Cactus brand that are turned out. We also have a visual tag and an EID. So each cow is individually identified as well as a hot iron. You got to have facilities to accommodate AI. Obviously, controlling our genetics and wanting those higher quality genetics in our feed yards, we're definitely going to want to use AI. So we're going to have facilities to AI, proper care. Do you have a place you get a heifer in a bind and she's got one foot sticking out, and do you have a spot where you can get her in and find the other foot? I want to go make site visits, kind of pre-approve a place, make sure it's something that we want to get into. I'm going to make site visits, come up here. fairly long drive, but I think I can find a little bit faster way. We kind of went another way up this time, so I'm going to get real familiar with coming up here, I think. We do have in the system some flexibility. Either party can terminate within 60 days. So, this isn't working, there's a way to get out. For us, we do not want to use the 60-day as an exit program so we can make a quick buck. It goes back to our long-term goal. We want to increase our cow herd. Price of cows jumps up all of a sudden and we can cash out our equity. We're not interested in doing that. The reason that we would like to get out is if someone is not taking care of our assets. If body condition's dropping, if it's just not working, if health becomes a problem, we want to be able to have an avenue to protect our assets. We also wanted to give a producer the same option. If it's not working for you, there's a way to get out. The Cooperator, deads. There's always a question on deads when I pitch this to people. There's going to be normal death loss. We understand that cows sometimes die. If a cow dies and it's just a death, we want prompt notification. Call me, let me know about it, she died. If it's something that's kind of curious, we might dive into it a little bit more, make sure we don't have kind of an epidemic started. But death, no money will change hands. You are still liable for the lease for that cow. Even though she's dead, you're still liable for the lease for her term of the lease for that year. But no real money changes hands there. If a dead is due to negligence, then you are responsible. So if you forget to check waters for a week and you kill 10 cows, that's kind of a different deal. But normal death loss is understandable. We want prompt notification. You are responsible for all feed, mineral, daily care, vet expenses, and synchronization drugs. So we use a co-sync with a cedar, and it runs roughly $12 a cow, give or take. BCS of 5 to 6 must be maintained on these animals at all times. That's one of the things that I would like to go look at when I do our site visits and make sure they're fed properly. Cooperator is responsible for preg checking. It would behoove a cooperator to get a really good preg checker and to make sure that whoever you use for preg checking is pretty darn good. Because anything that is open will go back to this yard at Syracuse. So when you preg check, anything that's open will go back to the yard at Syracuse. Not that year. The following year, you brand new replacement to replace anything that died or that was open. So if you had 10 head that were open and 1 head that died through that year, then the next year we'd bring you 11 head of confirmed bred heifers that match the calving cycle of the cows you already have. Cooperator must have a general liability. We do this just to safeguard us both. If a cow gets out on the highway and gets hit and there's some issues there, we want to make sure that we've got some coverage to that. Most general policies that most agriculturists have would cover that, but we want to make sure that our cows are listed in that coverage. You must provide a transition feeding program. Now this is in there for anybody that mainly wants to go to a range or a pasture situation. At Syracuse, and Roberto will speak more to this, we do limit feed a ration, so those cows are pretty hungry. They get everything they need, but they're hungry. With a confinement system, I'm assuming most people are going to do the same. So a transition program basically needs to be common sense. If you're feeding a ration that's quite a bit different than ours, let's use some common sense. Let's step it up. Let's step it down properly, whatever needs to happen. Freight. Cooperator pays freight for any animal leaving their herd. That includes cows, bulls, open. So anything that leaves, you pay the freight. Anything that comes to you, Cactus pays the freight. So freight is basically split. Cactus is responsible for providing bull, semen, AI services for rebreeding the cows. Now we do have some flexibility here. If you really want to use your genetics and you've got a bull or you've got a cleanup bull, We'd prefer a virgin cleanup bull to make sure we're staying away from trichomoniasis. But if you've got your own genetics that you want, if it's something that we can sit down and all agree on, we're open to it. We're not going to say we're going to agree to everything, but we're open to it. All of our breeding services are provided by ABS. We have a partnership with ABS, so they provide all the semen and all the cleanup bulls. All of our cleanup bulls are the Powerline genetics, the Sim Angus cross that ABS has. We would prefer to stick with ABS, so if you have a certain bull that ABS has that you would like to use, and it's a bull that we can all agree on, we're all for it. We will provide the cleanup bulls. However, if you would rather use your own bulls, and we're going to make sure that they're virgin bulls to protect our herd from disease. But if you'd rather use your own, we can do that. And the breeding fee that we charge, because on top of the lease, we do charge a breeding fee. We don't lump it together because the breeding fee is charged only to the animals that we get bred. So when we go to your place and breed animals, if we bred 100 head of cows and we only got 95 of them bred, we only charge the breeding fee to the 95 that we got bred. So that is slightly variable. So if you wanted to use your own cleanup bulls, and we all agreed on which cleanup bulls you were going to use, we would only charge our breeding fee to 55% of the cows exposed to AI. That's usually what we get as an AI percentage, so we would only charge that breeding fee to that. So all in all, we do have some flexibility with the genetics. However, we want to make sure that we're using those high quality genetics. Cactus is responsible for providing replacement females, and replacement females will be provided at the end of the breeding instantly. So if you have 100 cows and we go to preg check them and we preg check them and there's 5 of them that are open, we do not bring you 5 cows right away to replace those, because then there's no incentive for you to get cows bred. That's another key performance factor that we're really going to look at. If we don't get a good breed back at a cooperator's place, we're probably not going to be very interested in keeping that deal going, because the more opens we have, the less financial attractive it is for us. So we want to make sure that the rebreeding is a key concern to these cooperators, and want to make sure cooperators are doing everything they can to get those cows rebred each and every time. In the event that something happens, and I use the example of when I pitched this to guys with pasture. Let's say you took 200 head and there was an extensive drought. And it's not because you're not trying, it's not because you're not doing everything you can, you just don't have the resources. Or say, for instance, a tragedy happened in the family, whoever's taking care of them can no longer do that. We have a way that you can get out. And if that happens for any unforeseen circumstance, if you have those cows bred for us and you're maintaining that gestation of that pregnant cow, we're going to pay you $1.50 per head per day for the time that you've maintained that gestating calf. So if you need to get out, it's not a deal where you're just going to lose everything, because obviously if you send the cows back to us that are bred, you will not get the resulting calf crop. So we're going to pay $1.50 per head per day to kind of do that. And then Cactus pay for all freight of cows and bulls going to you. Calf crops are 100% owned by the cooperators. They are your calves, 100%. Now you say, well, how in the heck is Cactus Feeders going to capitalize on all these genetics if they are 100% owned by you? Well, we want first option to buy them. We would like you to enter, when you sell those calves, we would like you to enter into discussion with our procurement department. We'd like you to price those calves to us. We know their genetics. We're hoping we can bid up and get some of those cattle bought. There may be certain times where Cactus Feeders is in a position where we're not able to offer a very good price for them. We do not want a system, going back to our long-term goal is we want to expand our cow herd. We don't want a system where a cooperator is tied to selling the calves to us when we're going to shoot a low-ball offer because it doesn't work for us at that time. Our main goal is to develop and expand our cow herd. So, if you do not like the price that Cactus and you agree on, the calves belong to you. You can do with them as you wish. We do have the first option of buying the calf crop. To ensure our participation, we do want these calves 45 days weaned. If you offer us a ball and calf straight stripped off the cow, we might or might belongs 100% to you, so we would hope that you would wean them 45 days at least, so that you participate and enter into those pricing discussions. So all that will be handled by the cattle procurement department. Now, there is an exception with 20% of the heifers. These would be the heifer calves. We get a right to buy 20% of the heifer calves. Now, they still belong to you, and we're going to pay you for them, and we're going to pay $5 a hundredweight over what the other 80% sell for. So it's not a huge premium, but we wanted to work some sort of premium for the heifer calves since we get the right to buy those. The heifer calves we will take back to Syracuse and be placed in Roberto's care, and he'll breed those up, and we'll use those to continue to expand our base herd. We are flexible with the 20% of the heifers. If you would like to sell them to us after their 45-day post-wean, we'll take them then. If you have some pasture somewhere and you got something that you want to graze them out a little bit, we need to enter into discussions and make sure it's going to be something that works for us. But if you sell them to us as a stalker animal, weighing 750, we would be probably interested in that as well. And then obviously we make no warranty to the profitability of heifers, cows, or bulls. Now, all of our bulls will be breeding soundness tested. They will be trick tested. We're going to do everything. Our cows are vaccinated. There is no reason why our cows shouldn't perform well. However, when we send them to a cooperator, we have no guarantee. We have no guarantee on calf health. That's one thing that Roberto and I want to stress is, and that's one of his challenges you're going to see him talk about tomorrow is keeping these little dudes alive in a confinement system. So, they're your calves. We have no, warranty on that by any means. These are some of our cows. They're really hard to get through one of them silencer chutes. We're working with that to get it going, but and then we're going to cross these with this is our bull line. That's Roberto there. I think he's going to wear that tie tomorrow, so be looking for that. So, no, it's a joke. Trust me. Those aren't ours. So, here's some of the cows we have. These cows are placed with a gentleman that lives south of Amarillo, Texas. This gentleman uses a semi-confinement system. So these are some of the cows. They've been at in his care for about a month now. Predominantly Angus type quality. They are not registered. There are a few black baldies, a few motleys mixed in, occasional red, but I would say 90 to 95% black. This particular set of heifers originated in South Dakota. They were bought as a big group and then bred and developed. The heifers that we have going out available for lease in August, those heifers are mainly Nebraska, Colorado, and I believe a few South Dakotas in there as well. So they are northern type quality heifers. I really like the way they look. I've learned different parts of the country, everybody looks at a cow a little bit different. From where we are, we're pretty proud of them. We think they're pretty fancy looking set of heifers. As you can see, that's our brand. Those cattle are in Texas. In Texas, we have a CF bar. This is another set of heifers. These heifers are just a little closer to Amarillo. These heifers are out on wheat pasture right now. As this wheat begins to kind of get toasted by the heat, they're going to move to a grass situation. They're going to calve out on some grass there, but this is kind of a different cooperator that has these females. This is our bull. This is ABS's bull. This is, I believe, is Summit Crest Focus 2U66. This is the bull that we breed every single first calf heifer to. We are very happy with his results. Roberto has hundreds of his calves on the ground. He pulls about 2% of those calves, and the ones he pulls are mainly presentation issues. The cooperators that we have these cows out echo those comments. They pull very few of them. They're having very good luck with them. We're very happy with the performance of this bull. So this is what these heifers are going to be bred to. In future years, as I talked about, there's some leeway on kind of, and you will get some decision-making process in those genetics. Cooperators pay $230 per head per year. I must apologize. In the notebook, it does say 201. Rebecca and I had to get together because these are a little bit farther from home. We had to adjust for some freight and for some care visits. So the cost is, the book is incorrect. I apologize about that. It'll be $230 per female per year. Now this is a $230. This is for the group of females that we are breeding in May, that will be preg checked in August and ready for delivery in August. Now, every time we have a different season or a different year, this annual lease change will change. If heifers are through the roof and really, really high, obviously we're going to have a lot more in those heifers, so we're going to have to charge a little bit more lease to get those out. If heifers are a little bit lower and we've got them bought a little bit better, that lease cost will go down. So the way it works is, if you take delivery of 100 head of heifers, those 100 head of heifers will have a lease fee of $230 per year for their duration of their lifetime in your herd. When you get replacements, as you have coals and beds, you get replacements. Those replacements may or may not have the same lease fee. The replacements coming in, their lease fee will be determined on what we have in them. Now, I cannot tell you what we have in them yet because obviously we don't have them bought. We're not that far along. But each heifer, and that's why we have the EIDs and the visual tags, each heifer has a lease fee. When they're delivered to you, that lease fee stays constant for her life. New heifers coming in, a new lease fee, constant for her life. 25% is due on delivery. 50% is due mid-production year, and then 25% is due at sale of calves. We do ask that if you are wanting to keep these and graze them out or keep them and feed them yourself, they're your calves. You can do with them as you wish, but we ask if you're not going to sell them 60 days post-weaning, we ask for that payment. If you don't pay us for that payment, we would like to charge you a little bit of interest because we don't want to be strung out that far. You know, if you maintain that animal to an 850 weight, we don't want to have our 25% strung out that far. So we would like our last 25% at least 60 days post-weaning. We did this cost structure to try to kind of help out with payments and capital. One of the real benefits, and I'm sure you guys can kind of figure it out, is one of the real benefits of this is the reduced amount of capital. You are not out the risk of that cow and that equity losing value. The cows are owned by Cactus 100% of the time. I believe when I calculated a lot, a conventional system where you went out and bought cows versus using our lease program, it's roughly 75% less capital. Now, are you still exposed to the market risk of the calves? Yes. You'd be exposed to that risk regardless. But with this program, you're exposed a lot less on the equity of the cow side. This is kind of a picture. I apologize, these words are a little too small. As you guys know, a cow production is not a very simple year-to-year thing. There's a lot of overlap that goes on. So that's exactly what's going on here. Is as you can see, the green line would be the year 1 lease. The purple line would be the year 2 lease. Blue line, year 3 lease. And as you can see, there is overlap. Because in 2017, you're paying 25% of year 2 when you still haven't finished out year 1. And the reason for that is because we've added the 25% is due at the sale of calves. So there is overlap. The breeding fee is due at preg checking. One way to look at it is during a calendar year, you will pay 100% of a lease, just not of the same year. So there is some overlap with the way we've got the pricing structured in there. The first year, it's a little bit different. After that, it becomes fairly consistent on how we do that. So, and if there's any questions about that, I'd love to visit with you guys afterwards if you have more questions on that. Production year starts on the first day of the breeding season. So that's when we come in AI. When we come in AI, you will provide all the synchronization drugs and get those girls synced up for us. We will provide the technician and the semen. So we come in and provide the technician, the semen. We also bring cleanup bulls at that time, and that is part of our breeding fee. Our breeding fee is $40 to $60. If you use our cleanup bulls, the breeding fee is going to be more towards the $60. If you use AI, it's going to be closer to the $40 to $50 range. And we have that range because ABS charges us. They provide the service, so we basically, what they charge us, we pass on to you. So it is slightly variable, but it will be in that range, $40 to $60. And then, kind of as I said, new heifers coming in will have a different lease fee for their lifetime. If heifers are received after preg checking, there's going to be a carrying cost. So these heifers that are being bred in May, preg checked in August, if you have, if you're not ready for them yet, if your place isn't ready for them yet, you have to wait till January to receive them. Then the time that from there when they were preg checked until you receive delivery, we're going to charge you a carrying cost because we obviously took care of that gestating calf. And that'll be based on the daily yardage rate of whatever Roberto has in it. And then upon preg checking, 40 to 60 per pregnant female. And our main goal, we want to expand our cow herd. I really appreciate Tony and these guys getting us down here. As we come up here, it's a little bit far away from home for us. Roberto and I were visiting about this as we were driving up. We see huge potential here. I think some of you guys, it may work for you. This system won't work for everybody. It's going to work for some, but not everybody. As we do this, Cactus Feeders, because of our goal is we want this long-term building our cow herd, we really want to ease into this. So we're not looking to get just huge numbers right away, but we do want really quality cattlemen, cattle women that really want to take care of our assets. And we want to try this out. We want to see if it works up here. If we can prove that this model works and we can prove that our cows are taken care of, and if we can prove it works for you, because obviously this program will not work if it doesn't work for you. If you're not able to turn a profit and to make this work, then obviously you're not going to want to be in it. So we want to kind of ease into this deal and make it work. But I'm really excited to visit with some of you guys and see some questions. I'm sure I didn't cover everything. But we're going to be fairly highly selective because we want this to work. And as kind of Willow said, my passion is cow-calf. I started out working for Cactus in the feed yard and really enjoyed it, learned a lot, met a lot of good people, but I really am cooperators and I want to make it work for me. So I'm excited about this. Love to visit with you guys. I don't know if I'm out of time, I can sit down, or if there's questions. I don't know what format you want to kind of go for. Yes, ma'am. Okay, yeah, for sure. Any questions? That's an excellent question. How long have we been doing this? How many cows are in place? We began this probably about 6-7 months ago. So it is a new program. Currently, we have 1,058 head out with cooperators. Of that, there's 3 cooperators that have calves on the ground right now. They're calving as we speak. They're almost done. They're pretty much at the tail end of it. We have some cooperators that are going to calve in May, and then another cooperator that will calve in August and September. So 1,058 head. Of these heifers that we have available to calve in February, March, we're going to breed them in May, preg check them in August. They'll lay down and calve February, March. Of those, I've got commitments on about 1,000 of those head. We have some more of those available, and that's another thing. I'm not sure what calving season is going to fit you guys, and that's why I want to visit with each one of you kind of individually and kind of see. We do have a little bit of options there. I don't want to promise anything, but I want to see. We do have some different options possibly on that. But we definitely have some February and March calvers available. Good question. Thank you. Yes, sir. We'd like, we want to try to get 500 up here to start out with. I don't think we want all those at one spot. 100 head, 100, 150. Yes, sir. Excuse me. Can your cat? We're gonna have to look at that. The bulls, when it comes to breeding, no. Especially if you use our bulls, we don't want to use our bulls. And the bulls that we use are actually owned by ABS. And the question, I don't think I repeated the question. If you have a small herd, can the Cactus cows run with the herd you already have? If we manage it right and we make sure that those are separated during the breeding season, we can probably do something like that, yes. But the bulls are the issue. We want to make sure that the bulls are by ABS, are not breeding other cows. We want to maintain that closed herd and make sure we're not abusing our ABS privileges there. But I think there's situations where we can work that out. Yes, sir. Calving season matter to us. We are going to have more calves because of the Roberto system. We're going to have more calves available for calving in February, March. However, as I mentioned, there are some options. We do have some May, June calvers, and we have some August, September calvers. So there are some options there. I know some of those later times may work a lot better for some of these systems. We're open to talk about those. I don't want to guarantee them, but I do know that we do have a lot of February, March calvers that are available. Yes, sir. No, we refer that one to Roberto. He does more of that. So the question was, the question is, with our economies of scale, can we, if we get a discount on cedars and we get them for $9 instead of whatever, can Cactus pass those savings on to the cooperator so the cooperator can get those benefits? And Roberto says we get a little bit of a discount, but not much. If we do get any kind of a discount, we definitely can work with you, but it's probably not going to be substantial. Yes, sir. That's okay. Good question. The question is, do we send out our own AFAN check, or if there's an ABS rep close, can we use that? That's the way it works. Is ABS finds the closest rep. So if it's an ABS rep, you're good to go. ABS will use them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so who makes the decision on culls? That's going to be a lot of your decision. We're going to sit down like gentlemen and just basically work it out between us. It's not going to be all on Cactus. Those cows are obviously going to be in your care, and you're going to know a whole lot more about them than I will. And if you've got a cow in your place that's just not fitting your program, we would be open to culling her and getting you a replacement. In a situation where you culled a pregnant female, then the $1.50 per head per day would apply. And, we'd pay you for the time that you've gestated that calf for us, and then we'd get you a new one. So a lot of the decision process will be on you, because you're going to know those a lot better than us. It's not only possible, it's recommended. The question was, would it be possible for a cooperator to go look at those heifers at Syracuse? We prefer that. We'd really like, if it works and we want to get some cows to your place, we'd love to have you there. That would be a priority for us, is to get you down there and let you look at them. For sure. Another question? Yes, sir. No. The question would be, we'd be looking at leasing cows out instead of heifers. We're not interested in leasing the cows out. The cows that we have that Roberto has calved out in the feed yard, they're adjusted to that climate in the feed yard. If they're working for him there, he's going to want to keep those as a base herd. So no, we just really are not interested in getting a lot of cows out. We're interested in first calf heifers. Also, that we're not allowing any heifers out that we've really raised at the feed yard. We want to make sure that these heifers were purchased somewhere. And I don't know if there's a lot to it, but we want to make sure that one time they had their heads down eating instead of their heads in a bunk. The calves that we've raised there, I know Roberto might mention this in his talk, but some of the first steer calves that we raised at the feed yard, we turned them out on wheat, and it took them 3 days before they learned that they could put their head down and eat. So we want to make sure that those heifers were purchased somewhere. So we're not going to send you anything that was raised at the feed yard the whole time. So mainly just heifers and mainly just things we've purchased. Yeah. Is there a certain age we want to sell cows? We figure a useful life in our figure is about 8 years. 8 calving seasons, so that'd be about a 10-year-old cow. A lot of that's going to be based on you. If it's a situation where you've got them grazing, and you get a lot of smoothmouth cows, you might have to start culling a lot more of those. If you're in a more confined system and you're feeding them in a bunk, you might get a little more life out of them. It's going to go back to the question I answered for the gentleman. A lot of the cull decisions are going to be based on you, and you're going to get a part in that. Any others? Well, can I close with a joke? It's really bad. I apologize before I even start. So I've got a couple of heifers, and I really baby them, and I took one of them. I take them coffee every morning, just to say good morning. And so one of them just calved, and she had her calf there on the ground. Everything was good. And I took her coffee, and she said, "No, it's not the right kind. I drink decaffeinated now." I apologize, but my daughter really likes it, So, well, I appreciate it. I will be around all evening. If you guys have more questions, love to visit with you guys.